Most people still assume GPT-5 wins coding by default. In real developer workflows, that assumption is already outdated. The useful question is not which model is smarter. It is which model fails less in the coding workflow you actually run. No synthetic benchmark theater here. We compare 5 real workflows: bug fixes, refactors, API integration, terminal work, and repo understanding. GPT-5 feels faster and lighter in short loops. Claude often feels slower, but stronger when the task needs deeper repo reasoning. For lightweight fixes, quick questions, small snippets, and fast iteration, GPT-style workflows are hard to beat. For large refactors, cross-file reasoning, and architecture consistency, Claude often behaves more like a patient senior reviewer. The surprising result is simple. Claude can win 4 serious coding categories and still lose badly on one that developers feel every minute. The mature answer is not fanboy loyalty. Use GPT when speed matters and Claude when the repo has to stay coherent. Bug fixing is where shallow answers look good for 10 minutes and then cost you the next hour. GPT can patch the visible error fast, but sometimes fixes the symptom while missing the contract that caused the bug. Claude is often better at walking the trace back through multiple files before touching the code. Refactoring is not about changing code. It is about preserving behavior while the shape of the system changes. GPT can move fast on one file, but long refactors are where context dropping becomes expensive. Claude tends to be stronger when the same decision has to stay consistent across models, services, tests, and docs. But Claude has its own failure mode. It can overplan, overexplain, and make a simple change feel heavier than it is. API integration is where both models can look impressive until auth, retries, pagination, and error contracts show up. GPT is great at getting the first version on screen quickly: client, endpoint, sample call, and a working shape. Claude is often better at asking what the integration contract really means before it spreads bad assumptions through the codebase. Terminal work is different. Here, speed, short commands, and fast correction matter more than long reasoning. This is the category where GPT often wins clearly. Short terminal loops feel faster, lighter, and less interrupted. Claude can be right and still feel wrong for this job, because latency and giant responses break the developer loop. GPT's common risk is session drift. It may forget earlier constraints and optimize the local answer. Repo understanding is where long context behavior matters. The model has to infer how the system is supposed to work, not just what file is open. This is Claude's strongest lane, understanding the shape of a repo and keeping the fix aligned with that shape. When GPT breaks, it often breaks by being too local: good patch, incomplete edit, missing migration, or forgotten test. When Claude breaks, it often breaks by being too broad: too many steps, too much explanation, or a loop that should have ended. The best teams will not pick one model forever. They will route coding tasks by workflow, risk, and feedback speed. Here is the practical matrix: GPT for fast iteration, Claude for deep repo work, and tests as the referee. Whichever model you use, give a contract, scope, files, constraints, tests, and what evidence proves the change worked. The coding war is not really GPT versus Claude. It is fast iteration versus deep coherence. Use GPT when the next action is obvious. Use Claude when the system has to be understood before the next action is safe. Do not ask which model wins coding. Ask what kind of coding session you are in, then choose the loop that fails least.